Brothers Band's debut record. It really did announce something completely different. These photographs represented the Allman Brothers Band visually to the market in 1969, and even still to this day. Vitamin ABB, trust me, I'm a doctor.
The photo on the left is the same site as the band's first album cover. This is actually the 1855 home of a prominent cotton plantation owner. It was in a state of disrepair in 1969 when they took the photographs. The image in the upper right here is the back cover of the first album, and that's from Rose Hill Cemetery in Macon. Barry Oakley is actually standing in an alcove of a mausoleum for Joseph Bond, who at one point was one of the largest slaveholders in the United States. The photos were taken in summer 1969 as the band was preparing its first album. They look like outlaws from a different time, a band of warriors ready to take on the world, which is true. The Allman Brothers Band was on what became 2+ years of relentless touring, spending more than 300 days a year on the road. In March 1971, they recorded their masterpiece at Fillmore East over 4 shows in New York City. Released July 6th, the album hit gold by October 25th, which was a remarkable achievement for a band that had barely sold 150,000 units in their first 2 records. 4 days after receiving the news that the record was a breakthrough smash, their leader, Duane Allman, was dead in a motorcycle crash. He was 3 weeks shy of his 25th birthday. Duane's devastated bandmates honored him with an enduring commitment to his vision. On November 1, they played his memorial service. Then they embarked on a 90-show tour as a quintet. The band channeled their grief into music. As Butch Trucks said, "We were playing for our lives, trying to make sense of it all." The band found healing in music, but it was only temporary relief. Their leader's absence had a profound effect on the band. Barry Oakley, most distraught. "Duane's death destroyed him," said Greg. "Barry Oakley's life ended with my brother's life. Never have I seen a man collapse like that." Oakley blunted his pain in a haze of drug and alcohol and died in a motorcycle crash November 11, 1972. It was a year and 2 weeks after Duane's death and a stone's throw from the site. Since 1972, the bandmates have been buried beside each other in Rose Hill Cemetery. That's a photo I took on the lower left in 1997. The plot has now grown to include 4 of the 6 original members. That's upper left-hand corner. Rose Hill Cemetery, established in 1840 along the Ocmulgee River, is famous for a classical revival garden layout, but its beauty lies its past. The 50-acre site is the final resting place for generations of slaveholding Maconites and their descendants, including 10 acres set aside for enslaved people. Rose Hill is also a favored hangout for the band. Rose Hill is also a favored hangout for the band in their early days, a place where they roamed, reflected, and found inspiration. Most notably, Dickie Betts' famous instrumental in memory of Elizabeth Reed. Betts named the song for Elizabeth Jones Reed Napier, the widow of a Confederate officer. Her tomb, that's her tomb here, tomb was a rendezvous spot with Boz Scaggs' wife Carmela, a torrid affair that inspired the song, its haunting minor key melody carrying feelings of wistful longing. In memory of Elizabeth Reed is an indelible part of the Allman Brothers Band's mythology, a link between the beauty, tragedy, and complexity of Southern history and the transcendent power of their music. And then in a striking coincidence, Elizabeth Reed died in 1935, just steps from the big house at 2321 Vineville Avenue in Macon. It was the Allman Brothers Band's communal home 35 years later and is now an Allman Brothers Band museum. Further connecting the dots, that house, the big house, sits on land that originally belonged to Reed's grandfather-in-law, that would be her husband's grandfather, who was infamous as the largest individual investor in Confederate bonds in 1861. I'm not trying to hammer this point home, except to say repeatedly, these intersections of this genteel Southern society and this rebel band of rock and rollers, you just can't unlink them. And it's true about the American South as well. You also can't unlink the legacies of slavery and segregation. These things are super tied together and they never go away.